Second grade, this is Module 4, Lesson 28. Hey, we are going to turn these ones into tens. So 10 ones equals how many tens? 1 tens, very good. 20 ones equals how many tens? 2 tens, good. Here's one a little bit trickier. 24 ones equals how many? 2 tens, 4 ones. How about 32 ones? Equals 3 tens and 2 ones. 88 ones equals what? 8 tens, 8 ones. Right, here's our application problem. When we're looking at our rules for word problems, the first thing to do, step number 1, is to read the problem. So let's go ahead and do that. It says, Jerry made 200 pizzas. He sold some of them and had 57 pizzas left. How many did he sell? Step 2, we need to circle the important numbers. So the numbers that I see are 200 and 57. So I circled those numbers. Now we need to underline any important words. Now if we're looking at our notes, left is one of the words that we need to underline. And that word tells us that we need to subtract. So let's take 200 minus 57. Go ahead and answer this on your own. Push pause and then push play when you're done. Okay, looking at this equation, we cannot take 7 from 0, and we have a 0 in the tens place. So we need to borrow from the hundreds now. That hundreds is going to turn to a 1, and we're going to give that tens place another 10 there. So that's going to change to 10. Now we can borrow for the ones place. So let's take 1 away from the 10, turns to 9, and give the 0 a 10, which turns to a 10. So now we can subtract. 10 minus 7 equals 3. 9 minus 5 equals 4. And we're going to bring that 1 down for the ones place. So there was 143 pizzas left. Or sorry, there was 143 pizzas he sold. Alright, we're going to continue learning to subtract with the tens place being a 0. So our problem here is 106 minus 58. I set this up vertically because it's easier for me to see. I have my ones and tens and hundreds all lined up. Now I can subtract here. Can we take 8 from 6? No. And there's nothing in the tens place to borrow from. So that means we need to go to the hundreds place. So we're going to take that 1 and turn it to a 0. And we'll skip to the tens place. Now we can take from the tens. So let's take 1 from the tens and it's going to turn to a 9. And the 6 is going to turn to a 16. So 16 minus 8 is 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. Your answer is 48. Let's try this one. We have 200 minus 67. Make sure yours is lined up just like mine. Go ahead and do borrowing on your own. Remember, if you can't take from the tens place, you're going to look at the hundreds place. Hey, this is how you should have borrowed. Since we can't take from the tens place, we're going to take from the hundreds place. And that 2 is going to turn to a 1. Now we can give 1 to the tens place. And we can take from the tens place to turn to a 9. And that 0 in the ones place is going to turn to a 10. And now we are able to subtract. Go ahead and subtract yours. See if this is what you came up with. 10 minus 7 equals 3. 9 minus 6 equals 3. And then we're going to bring that one down. And our answer is 133. Try this one on your own. Make sure you set it up where your hundreds, your tens, and your ones are all lined up. Push pause and then push play when you're done solving. Alright, let's compare answers here. We can't take 4 away from 3. And there's nothing in the tens place to borrow. So we need to go to the hundreds place. We're going to take from the hundreds, which is going to now turn to a 0. And that one's going to go to the tens place. Now we can take from the tens place. So let's take one from the tens, and it's going to turn to a 9. And the 3 in the ones place will turn to 13. So 13 minus 4 is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6, and your answer is 69. Here's your last problem that we're going to do together. 200 minus 49. Go ahead and set that up on your own, and then we'll compare answers when you're done. Go ahead and set it up and solve, and then push play when you're done. Okay, let's compare answers. This is how yours should have looked. You have your hundreds, your tens, and your ones all lined up. Looking at the ones place, we cannot take 0. We cannot take 5 from 0. And there's nothing in the tens place for us to borrow. So we need to go to the hundreds place. Let's take 1 for the hundreds. Now it's going to turn to 1, and we're going to give it to the tens place. Now we can take from the tens place. We take 1 away from 10, and it's going to be 9. And we give that 10 to the 0 there, it turns to 10. Now we can subtract our numbers. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 4 is, 9 minus 5 is 4. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So we don't need to put anything there in the 100s place because it's a 0. And our answer is 45. It's now your turn to show me what you learned.